Welcome back. Well, weight loss and staying fit are major goals for many people at the beginning of each year, but it can seem a lot tougher if one cannot afford the luxury of a gym membership. So to give us tips and tricks on how to achieve your goals in the comfort of your own home, fitness and wellness coach Stacey Holland joins me now via Skype. Stacey, I must say that this is one of the most guiltiest conversations I'm having with you, just given the fact that of what I've just had for lunch and for early dinner. But now you're saying that there's a way of us to stay fit on a budget, especially in January.
Yes, Faith, there's always a way to stay fit on a budget. You know, we live in the digital era. The same thing applies to education. When people say, you know, I can't afford to educate myself. Not true. There's a lot of free available online courses. And the same thing applies to health and wellness. You can download workouts. In fact, there are a plethora of workouts that are available on YouTube for free. You can do dance workouts. My mom does that as well. You can invest in something like a rebounder and TheraBands and a few lightweight dumbbells, and you can, you know, do workouts from the comfort of your own home. But if anything, this is not the time to feel guilty. Guilt is such a useless emotion. You've got to actually realize you enjoyed your 2019 transition into 2020. Yes, you may have indulged a little bit more, but instead of feeling guilty about it, why don't you use that energy constructively? Make a decision. I always say to people in January and February, choose a diet regime or something that you've wanted to do and dedicate either at least the next month or the next 3 months to it. Inform yourself on what it really entails and then try it out and see how your body responds.
I mean, a lot of times people say that the biggest flaw is the fact that there's no will. So the will to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and dedicate that 1 hour to exercise or to staying fit. It's not necessarily the resources, but it's that will. You know, that will and the drive to get up, especially in the early hours of the morning. How does one overcome that? What are the tricks to that?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you've got to find something that works for you. If getting up at 5 in the morning is not something that you can do, then find another time. I know some people say, yeah, but I work long days. But if you're more alert and you have more energy after work, then maybe rather squeeze in that hour, chat to your hubby or your wife or your family, or recruit them in your goals as well. If that becomes a difficult thing, you know, work-life balance or integration is something that is really important nowadays. But if getting up early in the morning, like me, I actually don't enjoy training at that time. When I am up, I think, wow, it's so beautiful to train at this time, but I have less energy. I'm more of a night owl type person, so I shift my workouts to suit me. If you can't do that, then maybe you should actually go back to finding out what's your why for wanting to get fit. You know, is it wanting to spend more time with your family? Are you feeling as if this year, you know, everything really seemed to take its toll on you? You just were so depleted in energy and you just want to get more year out of your life or life out of your year. Do you know what I mean? You want to actually make 2020 count. So you have to go back to your why if you are sort of stuck on all fronts and all boundaries within your life. And I think when you have a really powerful why, then it will motivate you. Maybe sign up to do an event, a 5K run or a 10K run, or decide to enter a sprint triathlon or something like that, and then recruit a buddy, because accountability always helps. So if you've got someone, maybe, you know, someone saying, I'm going to meet you tomorrow at the gym at 5 a.m., then it might be a little bit easier to get up at the end of the day.
Yeah. Stacey, what are your views on intermittent fasting? I know that it's been a new craze and it's been a new fad. You know all these different fads and that come in and out of people's lives. I mean, before there were different, just different kinds of options available for people, and sometimes people end up getting confused of what's best for me and what's not best for me. So what are your views on this one?
Look, it's something that I think human beings have been doing for thousands of years. We have all gone through periods of fasting. In fact, you know, it's something that's strong within the keto community, perhaps even in the Banting community, so the low carb, high fat type of community. But human beings, if you go back to days when tigers were chasing us and, you know, we were scavenging and hunting for our food, yes, we went through periods of fasting. It does trigger something called autophagy, which is when your body can actually start taking all the organelles and cells in the body that are a little bit defunct and repurposing them. So there's a powerful thing that happens. And if you look at many religions, there's some element of fasting involved. So I definitely think it has its place. Of course, it's not a one size fits all. I think people should start with shorter windows, do your research, and actually find out how it's going to work with you within your lifestyle. There's a lot of resources available online. So I would think a 16-8 window can work for many people, where you fast for 16 hours and then the period in which you eat is 8 hours. What I would challenge people to do is, sometimes people think it's an excuse to eat whatever they want. And technically speaking, yes, you're reducing your calories within that shorter window. But that's where I would challenge you to try and make healthier choices. So do I believe that it can work for some people? Definitely. If you've got blood sugar problems, if you feel a little bit dizzy when you haven't eaten for a long time, maybe it's not the best thing for you and you want to change that window period to suit you until your body does start to adapt. But there definitely are huge benefits to it. It's just about informing yourself and making an educated decision and then doing it properly for at least, I would say, a 3 to 6 week period to actually see if it works for you. You can't try it for a week and then say, oh, no, it doesn't really work for me, and not do it properly either. So if anything, that's my take-home message. If you're going to try something, dedicate yourself to it, and at least for a good 3 to 6 weeks before you actually see whether it works for you or not.
Stacey, we're going to leave it there for this evening. Thanks a lot for joining us, shedding some light in terms of how is it that we can get ourselves back into shape, especially after the December festivities. Well, the